Halloween is often a really fun time. It can be spooky, going to haunted houses, telling ghost stories, scaring the crap out of you and your friends. It can be just Halloween parties. It could be trick or treating. I used to love trick or treating. Halloween can basically be a lot of fun or as scary as you choose to make it. But Halloween really has become more for children and more for fun in modern times. But that's not really what Halloween is all about. I've told you a little bit about this in the past, but today we're going to dive a little deeper into it. So, hi guys, it's me, it's Queen Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who will like it too, and don't forget to leave us a positive comment in the comment section. Also, if you would like to get a reading done, email me, because underneath this video is my email and any other information you need to get in touch with me. You can also become one of my patrons on Patreon and be able to see my exclusive video series called Magical Minutes. It's a few minutes where I talk about something magical once a week, but I only upload it for my patrons. Alright guys, so let's take a quick look at Halloween. So the thing about Halloween is that Halloween is the day when pagans from all different cultures believe, that the veil is at its thinnest. So the separation between the spirit world and the physical world, which is our world, is the thinnest. So it's the time when we're the closest to each other. So the idea between, the veil being thin and us being close, it really was to honor, to celebrate, to give respect to the dead. It was a time to remember the dead, and a lot of the things that are done during Halloween are done to ward off evil energy. Even though some people will tell you Halloween is evil, but that's not the case. It's actually a time to ward off evil and celebrate your dearly departed. So Halloween is the perfect time for you to do things that honor your deceased, your ancestors, your peers, anybody who's passed over that meant something to you in any kind of way. Halloween is a great time to give them some honor. So I'm going to tell you a few easy ways that us witches and priestesses do to give honor to the dead. So one thing you can do that a lot of people do, I noticed this in a lot of people's homes, you can do an ancestral altar. It could be an ancestral altar. You can also name it other things, like you can call it, something like, I'm trying to think of another name other than ancestor, because an ancestral altar specifically is your ancestors. But let's say you wanted to do one that was just for people who've passed over. You can call it I guess like a deceased altar would be a good word for it. Either way, if it's an ancestral altar with just your ancestors, or a deceased altar, which is anybody who meant anything to you who's passed over. If you build one of these altars, and you can put it on any, place in your home, you can put their pictures on it, you can put candles up for them on it. And this is just a way, it's not like you're worshiping them or something like that, because I've heard people say that before. That's really not what it's about. It's just honoring them. You're honoring them, you're remembering them, you're celebrating them. And Halloween is a great time to build one of these altars. And even if it's not going to be up all year, most people's ancestral altar or their deceased altar is up all year. But some people just put it up for Halloween. And they put on it pictures. That's the biggest thing I see. Pictures or belongings. Let's say that you have pictures of your ancestors and you want to do an ancestral altar. You can put pictures of your ancestors. You might have a bottle of perfume from your aunt. You might have, an old pocket watch from your grandfather. Those are the kind of things that you put on the altar. Then you will put some flowers on the altar. You might write a prayer or, print out a prayer and put it on the altar. And you might leave it out for Halloween. And usually we decorate the altar in Halloween colors, orange, black, that kind of thing. And that can be a sacred time of remembering, So you put up the altar and then you and your family sit around and talk about grandma, talk about the things Uncle Buddy used to always do. If you do a deceased altar, then you can add your friends who've passed over. And that could be anybody that was a good, powerful influence in your life. You always want to call upon good people. You don't want to call upon mischievous spirits, So you want to call upon good people, people that you had a good relationship with or who mean something to you. You might have a grandmother that you never met, but everybody always told you how excited she was that you were going to be born, but she died before she met you. That's a great person to go on your ancestral altar or your deceased altar. So that's one great idea that I see a lot of people do from a lot of different cultures. That's a great one. You also, if you don't want to necessarily bring it into your home, you can go to their grave. You can go to where they're buried, if they're buried somewhere, or you can go to a place that was special to them if they're not buried somewhere. Some people choose to have their ashes spilt in different places. You can go to where their ashes are, if it's nearby, and you can do a little prayer. A lot of people go to the grave. They leave flowers, they leave candy, they leave bottles of liquor, they might leave a wreath that says I love you. You can do that kind of thing at their grave. Or let's say they sprinkled their ashes in a lake somewhere. You can go to that lake and say some prayers for them and maybe throw some roses into the water for them. The idea is to respect and honor and celebrate those who have passed over. Some cultures, especially like Western culture, when somebody dies, it's seen as like this spooky kind of thing. We put them in these cemeteries and, we visit them once a year, but it doesn't have to be like that. When somebody passes over, your connection is never broken. So you can always go. You don't even have to go anywhere. Like I said, you can do it right in your home, but you can always connect with them. And Halloween is said to be, again, the best time for that. So think about your loved ones who've passed over. You can do this with pets too. Somebody once asked me about pets. Yeah, you can do an altar with your pets. I knew somebody once, and he was very much into animals. He was close. I would say he was closer to animals than he was close to people. And he did have a small altar where he had pictures of his pets. He had a lot of pets that had passed over in the past, it was like 40 years. And he had 4 or 5 of them and had their pictures and their collar and, those kind of things on his little pet altar. But they were all deceased pets. So you don't have to break that connection just because that person has passed over. As a matter of fact, it's more healthy to remember them for you and for their spirit. Okay? All right, let's take a quick look at some positive comments. Luz Lopez, my girl, what's up, Luz? Luz says, sometimes learning another language is more motivational through music. I like this comment because I was talking about learning other languages. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, she's right. Because if you listen to songs in the language that you want to learn, it could be easier to learn vocabulary. So I wanted to say that to you guys. For any of you who are interested in other languages, that was a great idea from Luz. The next one comes from Jordan Oliver. Hey, Jordan. Jordan said, narcissists are drawn to empaths. That's true. I hear that time and time again from experts. That's very true. And high vibrational people. Yes. People, you cannot give energy to these types of people. Do not give energy to the narcissist. I agree. Because they're toxic and will drain your energy, abuse you. Whoever is dealing with a narcissist, run fast and never look back. Protect yourself. Good video, Queen. I have nothing to add to that. I agree 100%. Run and run fast. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Come back soon. I got a lot more to say.